In today's age of social media, it can be super difficult to know if your crush likes you or not. That's because most of our important communications are done by text or through Facebook Messenger. We're just way too scared to admit our feelings face to face. But don't worry, there are still some key body language signs that you can look out for to figure out whether your crush truly likes you or not. Make sure to keep watching until the end to see why our sense of touch is a super important factor when it comes to the law of attraction. Before we jump into it, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fun facts. Now here's 10 body language signs he's attracted to you. Smiling. Nobody really knows how humans learn to smile. It seems to be an innate instinct that we're all just born with. However, if your crush is always smiling when you're around, it could mean that he's attracted to you. Smiling is almost always associated with positivity. Researchers have even found that a smile that lasts only 0.04 of a second is enough to lift the spirits of the person on the receiving end of it. But you can only know that your crush likes you back for sure if they're giving you genuine smiles. Psychophysiologist Gary Schwartz says that all smiles are either real and spontaneous or fake and manufactured. He found that the manufactured smiles are almost always 10 times bigger than the real smiles because they're meant to be shown off. On the other hand, genuine smiles happen more gradually and are usually repeated in brief bursts. You can tell if a smile is real if the person's eyes are smiling too. That usually means that their eyes will crease in the corners and smile lines will appear under their eyes. According to studies, the more two people are attracted to each other, the more they will genuinely smile in each other's presence. It's also proven that women smile way more than men do. So if your crush keeps smiling at you with his whole face, then you know that he's really smitten.
Hey guys, we are so excited to announce we are producing our own original content. Head over to The Trendy for the best DIYs, fashion tips, makeup hacks, and so much more. We are sure you're going to love it. And be sure to let us know what you think in the comment section. We love to hear from you. See you there.
Mimicry. We all know that imitation is the best form of flattery. This is especially true when it comes to the courting period in any budding relationship. Also known as mimicry, studies show that we are more attracted to people who mimic us verbally and non-verbally. Studies also suggest that people will subconsciously copy their partner's movements and verbiage to help maintain a certain level of attraction in their relationship. So if you notice that your crush is always crossing his legs after you cross yours, he's probably trying to woo you. Dating sites are always telling their readers that they should mimic their crush if they want their crush to be attracted to them. Your guy probably read about mimicry online and is testing out its effectiveness on you. A big reason that people are encouraged to mimic others is because mimicry helps to increase the level of trust between two people. Your crush might be using this trick to try to get you to open up to him more easily. If you want to take your relationship to the next level, try mimicking him back. The trick is to be subtle with it, or else you risk scaring him away. Do you think that your crush has been copying your gestures and mannerisms? Let us know what you've caught your copycat doing in the comments below. Dilated pupils. An eye pupil's main purpose is to regulate the amount of light that the eye receives through dilation and contraction. It's not something that we physically feel happen, but the movement of our pupils helps us to see in different kinds of lighting moods. Did you know that your crush's pupils can also be the key indicator to whether he likes you or not? When your crush sees something that he likes, his pupils will involuntarily dilate. It's almost as if the pupils are trying to allow the eyes to see more of what is pleasing to them. According to studies, pupils can actually dilate up to 3 times their size when looking at someone who is attractive. So if your crush's pupils are super dilated whenever he's talking to you, then he's totally into you. You may not even realize this, but seeing his pupils dilate makes him even more attractive to you. Women often associate dilated pupils with bad boys, and we all know that girls can't resist a James Dean kind of vibe. This body language sign also helps to explain why everything feels more romantic between two people when they're in a setting with dim lighting. Both of their pupils will dilate to adjust to the low light, and they'll look more attractive to each other because of it. So if you want to know how your crush really feels about you, take a long look into his eyes. They truly are the window to his soul. Pace. Have you ever noticed if your crush slows down his pace to match yours when you're walking together? Although it may not seem like a big deal, your crush's pace when you're together is a crucial sign as to whether he likes you or not. According to body language expert Patty Wood, if your guy is constantly walking ahead of you, he is probably more into himself than he is into you. If he's attracted to you, he'll subconsciously match your pace because he enjoys your company. However, a study on the subject proved that people only do this when they like someone romantically. When they had the male study subjects walk with their female friends, the researchers noticed noticed that the individuals weren't really focused on pace matching as much. So you should feel flattered if your guy slows down when you decide to slow down or speed up when you suddenly speed up. Men tend to have a higher optimal walking speed than women do due to the fact that they will usually have longer legs than us. This means that they're able to walk much faster than we are without using as much energy. But we think that a guy who's willing to give up his need for speed is definitely a keeper. Next time you and your crush hang out, just ask him to go for a walk. We swear that by the end of it, you'll totally know where your relationship stands. Leaning in. When you're around your crush while with a group of people, you probably don't even realize that your body is subconsciously giving them hints. A big nonverbal way that you show interest in someone is by leaning in towards them. If you notice that your guy's body is always leaning in towards you, he is definitely trying to convey that he would like to get closer to you. He may also be trying to test your reaction to see if you'll lean back towards him with interest or lean away from him in disgust. Leaning in is his way of showing you that he's interested in what you have to say and that he's giving you his complete attention. It's also one of the most important body language signs of attraction because it could signal that your crush is wanting to kiss you. When two people kiss, they have to lean into each other until their lips meet. So doing the same body movement during a conversation shows that he is subconsciously wanting to get closer to you both emotionally and physically. If you want to show him that you like him back, make sure to lean towards him whenever you notice him doing it. Even if this technique doesn't work right away, it'll allow you to get close enough to admire his cologne without seeming too creepy. Manspreading. Manspreading is when a man spreads open his legs without thinking about the personal space of those around him. It is generally a move that is frowned upon for being a toxic sign of masculinity. But did you know that if your crush is manspreading when he's around you, it can mean that he's really into you? According to Barbara Pease, co-author of the book The Body Language of Love, this move means that a guy is putting his manhood on display to attract a mate. It also shows off his masculinity and lets whoever's watching know that he's not going anywhere. While manspreading does seem like a big power play move, there's also a more sensitive message behind it too. According to body language expert Patty Wood, if your crush does this move in front of you, it means that he's willing to put himself out there for you. Sitting with his legs spread is a vulnerable position for him because it exposes an area that is super sensitive. So manspreading is like a mixture of him both peacocking and letting down his guard all in one swift movement. However, don't be afraid to say something if his manspreading is getting out of control and taking up all your personal space. Most men don't even realize that the move can be inconsiderate to those who are around them. Pointed feet. When you're trying to figure out if your crush likes you or not, you may not think that it's important to look at their feet. What do feet have to do with the law of attraction, right? But according to body language experts, the direction to which our lead foot points to is usually the direction in which we want to go. So if your crush is talking to another girl but has his right foot pointed towards you, it means that you're actually the one he wants. Even if he looks like he's having a great conversation with the other girl, you're in the back of his mind and he's probably thinking about approaching you. If you ever watch two people who are attracted to each other interact, you'll notice that each person will have their lead foot out a step forwards towards the other person. In this scenario, these two lovebirds are trying to physically close the space that's between them. If your crush has his foot pointing towards the nearest exit when you're talking, it might mean that he's just not as into you as you want him to be. However, it could also just mean that he needs to go to the bathroom down the hallway from that exit. The best way to decipher his body language sign is to see where his feet points to right after you touch his arm. Fidgeting. We all know how nerve-wracking it can be to be in the same room as our crush. Our heart rate increases, we can't speak properly, and we're not usually able to calm down. But one of the biggest things to remember when this happens is that your crush might be feeling the same way too. Is your crush always playing with his pen or fixing his hair when he's around you? His excessive fidgeting could mean that he's totally into you. It's harder to gauge this body language sign if your crush is a shy kind of guy. But if your guy goes from confident to super nervous whenever he's in your presence, you probably have him wrapped around your finger. However, if your guy is way too nervous whenever you're around, you need to help them to relax. Excessive nervousness can mean that he's intimidated by you, and your relationship will never blossom if he continues to feel that way. If you're into a guy that's not very confident, you should try to do your best to show him that you care. Fidgeting is a response to what happens when there's a large amount of stress hormones in the human body. The body preps the muscles to run away from whatever is causing you distress. But unless you're actually in danger, all that energy stays in the body and has to be relieved through fidgeting. Don't worry though, we promise that your crush isn't totally afraid of you. Eyebrows. You've probably never thought about how important our eyebrows really are. While they may just seem like annoying hairy lines above our eyes that we constantly need to pluck, they're actually super important for our social interactions. People can tell if we're happy, mad, or sad just by the way that we move our eyebrows. Did you know that men are also known to raise their eyebrows when they find a woman to be attractive and interesting? According to Cosmo, people subconsciously do this to help open their eyes to see more of what they like. But this eyebrow flash usually only lasts for a split second, so you really have to pay close attention to catch this subtle signal. However, if you notice that your crush's eyebrows are lowered, then he probably doesn't want anything to do with you. That's because lowered eyebrows are a sign of anger and disagreement. But the eyebrow flash gesture is so small that you really need to be on the lookout for it. Who knew that our eyebrows could be such a key indicator as to whether someone likes us or not? Seeing an eyebrow flash from your crush can really help give you the confidence that you need to make the first move. And if you do eventually catch him doing it, don't forget to come back to this video and let us know what happened in the comments below. Touch. Human beings crave connection. Whether it be emotional or physical, we all just want to feel loved. One of the easiest ways to feel connected to someone is to use your sense of touch. If your crush is always subtly finding ways to touch you when you hang out, then you are definitely an object of his desire. He might accidentally graze your hand whenever you're sitting next to each other. Or maybe he's the kind of guy who likes to put his hand on the small of your back to help guide you through crowds of people. These types of gestures clearly show that he wants to get closer to you. According to psychology professor Daniel Keltner, touching someone triggers the brain to release oxytocin, which is also known as the love hormone. If your crush can't stop finding excuses to touch you, it's because it actually feels good for him to do so. Of course, your crush should always be respectful of your boundaries and should only hug or get close to you if you allow him to. Also, it's the way that he touches you that can give you an idea of how he truly feels. If he's grabbing your behind instead of gently brushing your hair out of your face, then he's probably not looking for anything serious. We suggest that you try to stay far away from those kind of guys. That's all for 10 body language signs he's attracted to you. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. See you next time!